Hello, geometry students. In this lesson, we're going to talk about segment lengths. We're looking at the lengths of segments that cross over a circle. Now, we're not talking about the angles anymore. A lot of people get that confused. And specifically, we're talking about segments that are created by two secants. So if you have a secant that crosses, you actually are going to cut this proportionally. The outside portion is not equal, but they are proportional for both segments. The outside proportion to the whole portion, the outside proportion to the whole portion. So you're going to multiply outside times the whole or the entire segment. That means you're going to have to add. Don't forget to add. This is fortunately easy to remember because if you go outside, you're likely to get hurt. And what do you say? You say, ow, ow. So look at this first one. I see segments extending outside the circle. Ow, ow. It's outside times whole equals outside times whole. That's easy to remember. What you're going to do is you're going to take the outside part, and then you are going to multiply it times the entire part, which means you must add. So here's the most common mistake. When you write down the outside portion, write it down again immediately because you have to add 9 plus x. The entire orange here is not just x, it's 9 plus x. So write down the outside, 10 times 10 plus 17 because that is the whole part. Once you make it that far, the rest is just algebra. Probably could have skipped that step. I'm not going to distribute the 9 through. You could, but I'm actually just going to divide both sides by 9. And what I have is plain old 9 plus x. And then one last step. Before you put a box around it, it looks like I found the length of this segment. Well, does it make sense? If this is 9 feet, and this is 10 feet, and this is 17 feet, could this be 21 feet? It seems reasonable, so I'm pretty content. Well, let's look at this other picture. I'm going outside of the circle. I'm looking for the lengths of some segments. You can go outside. Ow, ow. So it's outside, but as soon as you write the outside down, write it down again because it's the whole is 8 plus x. So 9 times 9 plus 15. And again, it just turns into an algebra problem here. Oh, pardon me. Again, I'm not going to distribute the 8. I'm going to divide. It just makes it faster and easier. You could distribute if you want. And then the last step, as always, check to make sure your answer makes sense. I'm saying that this is 21. If this is 8 inches, that's 9 inches, that's 15 inches. Does that seem like it could be 21 inches? Just a coincidence that it ended up being the same thing. I didn't even notice that. How about this one? I have segments that extend outside the circle. Ow, ow. Outside times whole equals outside times whole. And if you look at it, this is the outside portion. And the whole portion you must add 2 segments. I'm not giving you the whole portion. You have to combine them together. So as soon as you write down the outside, write it down again. 5 times 5 plus x equals 4 times 4 plus 2x. Here I am going to distribute because I've got variables. So 25 plus 5x. And then it turns into an algebra problem, which I can't solve until I get my variables together. Looks like x equals 3. Always check to make sure you've answered the question. And if you can, check to make sure your answer makes sense. And again, I can, kind of. This is this 3 feet. That looks like it could be, excuse me, if this is 5 feet, that could be 3 feet. If this is 4 feet, this could be 6 feet. And another question I will ask you for the lengths of these segments. And you can also go back and check. Is 5 times 8 equal 4 times 10? Pretty content that it is. Does it get any harder? Ow, doesn't. If you see segments that extend outside, then the formula is outside times whole that you will have to add. That's ow. Outside times whole equals outside times whole. So write it down. As soon as you write down the outside, write it down again. 8 times 8 plus 6 equals 7 times 7 plus x plus 1. That's where you're likely to forget. So what I have over here, 8 plus 6. This is actually 7 plus 1 is 8. So I'm going to distribute here just because I did earlier. And then go ahead and finish it. X equals 8 and put a box around it. Except, always check to make sure you have answered the question. And I have not answered the question here. It's looking for the entire length of TR. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug this in here. 8 plus 1, of course, this segment is equal to 9. So the measure of TR is the whole, whoops. It's not an arc, it's a segment. Is the entire length. 7 plus 8 plus 1. So 16. It didn't give me units, but tag some units on. And again, you could always check. If this is 7 feet, could that be 9 feet? If this is 8 feet and 6 feet, could that be 9 feet? Yes. And that's that.